All right, Sam.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good, Sam. How are you?
I'm good. Is there an update on Julian Reese and how he's progressing and whether you expect him to play or not tomorrow?
I can't comment on injuries. I'm sorry, Sam.
Okay. And then also in terms of just the starting lineup and replacing Ian Martinez with Don Carey, is that something that you kind of expect to be permanent, or do you expect to continue as the season goes on?
No, I don't think it's going to be permanent at all. I think it's just a matter of trying to get Don going a little bit. Maybe trying to just put him in different situations with different guys on the court at different times. But I can see Don being back in the starting lineup for tomorrow's game.
Mm-hmm. And then just in terms of watching the tape back without Julian Reese against St. Peter's the other day, what kind of with Julian Reese isn't in the lineup for any game or an extended period of time, what kind of do you think everyone needs to do to help in terms of rebounding? Obviously, it's a small lineup out there, but how did you kind of feel about your team's rebounding effort? And then what can they do to improve too?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for us is, I think moving forward, if Julian's not on the floor, is probably not switching so much with our four-man and putting him in situations where he's not able to help rebound with either, whether it's Cal or if it's Pat. So, I mean, I think that was some of the issues that, we do to try to take away other teams' offense sometimes puts us at a rebounding disadvantage. So I think that's something we've looked at as maybe just being a little bit more old school when Pat's on the floor.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Marcus.
Hey, Coach, when you looked at films of UMBC, what sort of jumped out to you of some of the things that they do well?
Well, I mean, first of all, obviously they shoot the basketball at an extremely high level, and they don't do it just from one position. They do it from one through four. And I think the other thing that they do extremely well is they really push the pace. I just think they're a team that's kind of relentless in the fact that whether you score them or they get a stop, I mean, they're coming at you. They play a very difficult 5-out offense with a lot of cutting, a lot of movers, a lot of movement. And again, they're unique in the fact that, in my opinion, they shoot the basketball at extremely high level at 4 spots.
And with there being such a quick turnaround between the UMBC game and then your next game, jumping back into conference, do you tend to have an assistant or assign an assistant to kind of start getting an early scout on that game?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, all our assistants rotate the scouts. So, like Tony Skin's doing this scout for UMBC. And then I think David has Michigan, and then I think Grant has Rutgers. So those guys, each assistant kind of just focuses on their scout. So like me and Tony have worked this week on just UMBC, and then starting tomorrow on Friday morning, I think it is Friday morning, me and David will sit down and start getting the game plan ready for Michigan.
All right, George.
Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Kind of going off of what Marcus said a little bit, we've had the blending in recent years where you've got a single game already done in conference, and this marks the end of your non-conference schedule. Do you think of it mentally like that as a coach? Like, this is our non-conference. Now we're full in on these teams that are in our league that we're going to see 1, if not 2 times, and maybe 3 times when you get to the Big Ten tournament? Or is it just kind of once you're in the season, you're in the flow of things? There's not really that mental division.
No, there's really not that big of a mental division. I mean, I think it conference is different. I think I'm trying, we take one game at a time, and we don't start looking for, we're not preparing for Michigan right now. We've just spent the last 2 days of practice on UMBC. I think as conference play goes on, it becomes different because, believe it or not, scouting becomes easier because you become much more familiar with the teams, and you've watched, if you're playing Northwestern, you've probably seen, and you've played 9 conference games, you've probably seen Northwestern play 7 times already, even though you're not scouting them. So I think non-conference is much harder to scout for, because we haven't seen UMBC. They haven't played any of the teams besides Coppin, but that was a while ago. That we've played, where Michigan, I've watched Michigan play 9 times already just because of them being in the league. So I think we take each game one day by day, but as conference play goes on, it actually becomes easier for the staff and the kids because they've seen that team so many times.
All right, Nikki.
Hey coach, I know you mentioned after the season opener that limiting the 3 and being able to score the 3 in these types of non-conference games against mid-majors is really important, and especially with UMBC attempting, I think about 27 threes a game. How important is the 3-point battle going to be tomorrow?
No, I mean, I think it's going to be, again, I think for us, for all games, if you look at all, our 3 losses, we've lost the 3-point battle pretty handily. I think it's especially for a team that runs and shoots as well as UMBC does. They also pass the ball extremely well. I think that's why they're such a good shooting team. Defending the 3-point line is going to be, really important. But I do believe that, I liked the way we started shooting the basketball a little bit in the second half of the St. Peter. So I want to work off and build off that too.
And just kind of going off having another, week-long break, what if the last couple of days just looked like to prepare for this game in practice, and then with a conference play on the horizon?
It's been a little sloppy. I mean, we took 3 days off, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. We took off. I think it was good for the guys again. But it's been a little sloppy trying to get back into it. So I'm hoping today we kind of start getting into a little bit better of a rhythm. It's just, you got to be a little patient after you take 3 days off. Guys travel, guys come home. We spent a lot of time on the individual side trying to get our legs back and understand we're playing a really good UMBC team. This is a good test for us going into conference play.
All right, Dave, did you have any questions for Coach? Dave Preston? I don't know if
Yes. Can you hear me okay, Coach?
Yes. Yep.
I'm working between like 3 computers, the old tin can and string talking to your neighbors, but you've prepared teams for Big East play. You've prepared teams for conference play at your first job as well. What sort of intangibles do you look for? Yes, you do have one more non-conference game, but what sort of things do you look for with how you guys play heading into conference play, and how has this team matched or answered that?
I think the biggest thing that I do is, I've gone through our playbook over the last 4 or 5 days since the St. Pierre's game, and just gone through the, it's one thing I will do, look at analytics. I look at the stats and see what plays have worked, what type of shots we're getting off each play. And I think this, we've made some huge adjustments in the last 2 or 3 days, just trying to mess with our playbook a little bit to get ready for conference play. But I think this team has done a pretty good job. We don't switch up anything defensively. I mean, you really can't do that this time of year, but I think, I've always been a big believer that, you can start to change your offense a little bit to kind of help you as you get into late January and February.
And I'm going to kind of put a little pressure on you. What was the biggest Christmas present in the Willard household? What was the winner this year? Was there a Red Ryder BB gun or?
That's a good question.
Did you get your kids belts and socks?
No, I think my wife has done a phenomenal job raising my kids, because I went Christmas Eve shopping like I always do for my wife, and my oldest always comes with me. It's been our Christmas tradition since he was about 6. And he always gets to pick one thing out, anything he wants in the mall, as long as he gets straight A's, and he's been getting straight A's since he was 6. And I said, we were about ready to leave. I said, dude, you gonna get anything for Christmas? He said, Dad, we're very blessed. Let's just focus on Mom. So I think that was the best Christmas present as a dad, that when your kid wants to focus on something else, it's pretty good.
Thanks again. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, thanks.